I'm going to start with a question you probably knew that was coming, Uriah, but talk about the decision to
Uh,
decide to come back.
um, so during fall camp last year, I actually had a really big injury. I broke my leg, and it was already in the works. Elisa actually came to me right after right after I broke my leg, and he was like, "I want you to sit out the rest of the year, and we're gonna try to work on getting you a sixth year." And yeah, that played into it. And then halfway through working through that waiver, there was a blanket waiver because of COVID. And so from there, I just like rushed my recovery process to try to catch part of the season. So it was always part of the plan when I broke my leg, but with the COVID thing, it just made it a lot more easier for me. And I just felt like I had a lot of business that was unfinished, and a lot of things that can leave more on the table. And that's how I felt about it. It's unfinished business that I needed to take care of. And last year was supposed to be that year, but God has bigger plans, and I'm just going to take advantage of it.
This year, you lost a lot of experience from your unit there on the line. Just talk about what you feel like you need to do to step in to fill leadership, performance, and really help that unit continue to progress.
Yeah, that's a great question. I feel like we have a lot of good guys. Yeah, we lost like Kyrus, Bracken, and Zach, but we have a lot of guys like Zoe, Earl, Gumby, Caden. They're all coming back, um, and like being one of the older guys in the group, I felt like I should put it more on my shoulders to take more of that leadership role. We're pushing guys. We're trying to see guys step up. I love seeing young guys like Batty step up. Tyler stepped up a lot lately. We're taking all the young guys and trying to like force feed them all this technique stuff, and we've done a lot to work on our own and continue that success from last year. I remember last year when we got the COVID shutdown and we stopped spring ball, everything was player ran. I remember Isaiah Kafusi and I would coordinate stuff with the linebackers, like, hey, what are you guys doing at Provo High? Let's do stuff like that. We're trying to keep that same thing going right now and just like not skip a beat. We're trying to reload, not what's the word? Rebuild. We're not trying to rebuild. We're trying to reload. So yeah.
All right, let's go with Jake and then Mitch.
Yeah, Uriah, how different are you as a player now as you were compared to maybe a year ago or even when you first got to Provo?
A lot different from when I got back from Provo. Like everyone knows, I'm injury prone. I've had a lot of injuries since I've been here, so I had to change a lot. The way I used to play was a lot more reckless, a lot. So I needed to work a little bit more on tech. I couldn't focus just on like talent and stuff. I needed to be very like meticulous with certain things. So I felt like I've grown a lot as a player here, especially from like last year. Taking that back seat after breaking my leg, I felt like it was a hard pride like pill to swallow, but I was willing to do it. Anything I can do to help the team. If I could see coaching points, I'd be like, hey Zach, you need to do that. Or like, oh bro, that step was a little off. Things like that. I just felt like I took it to another level from last year. Just sitting back and just watching a lot more. I felt like that helped me a lot, especially with this year.
I wanted to ask you, now you're working with Preston Hadley. You're working with the safeties. Now he's moved up to working with defensive ends. What's it been like working with him so far?
I love Preston, man. Preston's a great coach. We're welcoming him. We're welcoming him with open arms, And I feel like he's a great coach, humble coach. He's very meticulous. Like it's a little different coaching style from Coach E, but Preston's very good at like keeping things. What is it called? Like little things, which would have been very hard for us at first. But Preston has kept us in check a lot, actually, and we're happy to have him.
Uriah, it's interesting looking at this roster with the free eligibility waiver. There's only 3 seniors, and you're one of them.
Yeah.
There's just kind of like a pressure to, like be that one of the leaders of the program now that so many upperclassmen have departed. Is there kind of that role that you got to step into to be a leader this season?
I feel like there is, but I'm gonna just keep doing the same thing I've been doing. I'm not gonna let the pressure get to it. I know there's a lot of young guys, but they're all stepping up too. It's not my job to be vocal about it, but it's my job to push everyone else. I feel like I've already been stepped up into that role from last year as well, but I worked in the back, like from the backgrounds of thing. But for sure, especially on the defense. Yes, with seniority, yeah, I feel like I need to step up even more, be more a little bit more vocal, especially for my D line, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Kalani noted last week that there's been changes in the weight room, and the trenches have always been a priority for Kalani since he took over the program. Maybe could you describe some of the changes that have taken place leading up, and maybe in winter conditioning, and now heading into the spring ball?
We just been lifting, man. That's all we do. Lift, bulk up, lift. Just get strong. I felt like Newt and them have been trying their hardest to just get us strong this past off season from January to now. We just been lifting heavy, and then we trust in them. Ever since I've been here, that's been the emphasis, getting strong, and I trust in their ability to get us there. And if you buy into the program, you will have no regrets. That's for sure. So.
Right, let's go with Sean and then Ben.
Hey, Uriah, I feel like I kind of have to follow up on something that you just said back there, because you mentioned, coming back, and how coming back for another year was sort of always in the plan, I guess, for lack of a better term, when you broke your leg. But was it a little weird during the season, kind of watching your boys in that senior class and whatever, guys that you've grown up with and kind of been in the trenches alongside, watching them be like, yeah, we could come back, but we're going to go off. And then you'd be like, yeah, I still got another year, guys. So take a chill pill.
Nah, man, I'm happy for them. As hard as it was for me to watch them walk across the field on senior night, I was so happy for them. We have grinded this whole last offseason in 2020 to have a season like we did, and yeah, it sucks not being with them and all, but like I couldn't, like, honestly, I was so happy for my guys, especially like Zach Dahl, and so happy for Kyrus and all the things they've done and worked for Bracken. We've been there since the beginning with each other, so it's just really like, it was hard for me to like watch it, but I was happy at the same time. Like I always feel more with joy than anything. And like, to be honest, I'm ready for this year. Like, it sucked. Yeah, last year sucked watching them do that, but like, I'm just gonna put it all into this year and just give it my all.
Uriah, you've gone through a lot of physical and I imagine psychological, emotional adversity due to that physical adversity. What advice would you give to those that are going through that to kind of persevere? And I know you haven't been able to reap the rewards that you thought you'd be able to reap at this point in your career, but how have you been able to navigate that?
That's a great question. Thank you. I feel like one of the biggest thing was focusing on my blessings, focusing on what I did get, what I do have. I came in and like, I was a little prideful with things. I was like, man, I should have been able to do this. I should have been able to do that. There's something missing. And then like, especially my first 2 years here. But I feel like when I changed my attitude about it, like, man, I'm blessed to be here in Provo. I'm blessed to be playing a game that I love. Every time I go home, I'm like, man, I have friends that are doing crazy things right now, and I'm blessed to be here in Utah. And like, that changed a lot of my perspective on things. It's just like, man, I could be doing a lot of like worse things right now. And like, yeah, it sucks to be hurt, but like, I got my boys here. I'm playing football in front of thousands of people. It's a game I love, and like, I have a role to play, and that's something I was satisfied with. Like, man, this is my role. I'm ready to play it. I'll give it my best. I'm gonna take advantage of every opportunity I got, any resources I have. These resources aren't available in Compton, like, for real. It's like, I don't have these things back at home. And like, when I changed my thought about that, I felt like that's when everything started to turn around for me. I feel like if you have issues with that, make sure that you look at the bright side of things, what you do have, instead of what you don't.
And then finally, I appreciate that. It's insightful. Where were you at the beginning of last season in fall camp? Because, we always hear about, you talk about your potential. You're a very talented individual. And I think at that point last year, it seemed like you were kind of on that precipice of doing something great. Where were you at, and do you feel like you're back there? Give us kind of a insight into your athleticism at that time.
So right when COVID shut down, I went straight to Stroshine, worked my butt off. I thought it was going to be my last year. I did everything I could. I was fast, man. Ooh, was I flying, bro? I was flying. Honestly, I felt the best I ever did last fall. I was moving around. Kalani was like super excited for me, and I was super excited. Elisa trusts me 100%, and then I broke my leg. So like, honestly, that was the craziest part for me. But I feel exactly how I felt when I came into it. I've lost the body fat again, and I'm moving like I did before, and I'm excited. The knowledge is there, the IQ is there, everything's there. It's just my body's finally catching up. So yeah, I'm feeling good again.